get banned for sure.
She wanna hang, gotta let the gang G you. Metro worth a lot of L's, nigga, me too. Hanging up my earlobes is a rock. Hanging up my waistline is a Glock. The body in the casket was a op. I don't throw no bottles, I throw shots. All this drip on me, I need a mop. Balenciaga boxes in the stocks. I got 10 freaky girls on a yacht. Finna drown in them, dog. Finna drown in them.
We're still waiting.
Got 100 rounds.
We're still waiting.
Ain't no furniture.
We're still waiting, don't worry. I'm trying to get my screen figured out here in a way that's like, that's probably best, honestly. Yeah. About like this.
All these chains, rest in peace to Harry Tubman. Niggas broke cause they doing too much clubbing. Cashed out on all my cards cause I'm stubborn. Zone 6 against the word, that's how.
All right, we got like 3 minutes left. You're not just watching me jam out, I promise.
Ain't no fist fights, niggas up and straight up. Rappers say they won't smoke.
What's up, WAP? What's up, YouTube? Hello, Instagram. We're getting started here in a minute. I'm waiting until the premiere. Like, I can't control this. This is out of my hands right now. I can just jam out.
I don't throw no bottles, I throw shots. All this drip on me, I need a mop.
I should show you the backside too, shouldn't I?
I got 10 freaky girls on a yacht. I got 10 freaky girls on a yacht.
He was happy to see me.
I was racing down the highway earlier today. Right now, I happy to see a nigga I robbed back in the day. You know what?
Guys, it's a good night. It's a good night. I'm getting texted. I'm going to go out after this. Have some shit to do, but I think everything's going well with the stream here. Am I coming through all right? Audio good. Mic check, mic check. If you can't hear me, let me know. Oh, I can't. I think on, there we go. On WAP, I wasn't coming through. Good thing I checked that, honestly. This is going to premiere in a minute and a half, and just settle in. We're about to get started. It's going to be some good times here. I'm just balling out right now. It'll start automatically. I can't control the weather here. There we go. All right, here we go. We still got a minute left, and then it premieres. Wait for me, guys. Wait for me. Be patient. Hopefully YouTube doesn't ban me for copyrighted music. That'd be funny, actually. All right. If you're in the WAP, I'm going to send a message out to everyone in the WAP right now, so. All right, my community is notified. We are good to go. I think it's just gonna start on. Can I go full screen here? There we go. I can
talk about the mind of the unbreakable.
I'm not gonna play it. You guys are gonna see it in a second anyway. So I think it's just gonna start at 6:30. I've done this before, guys. It's not like I'm new to this. So just chill out for a second and turn the music off here. It'll refresh on its own. Oh, I think it's doing it. Well, you know, YouTube or Instagram is just a little bit lagged. So if you guys are watching on Instagram, you're slightly behind. I'm seeing. By the time you hear me say this, it's going to be a minute ahead. All right, so just started playing here. Lock in. I'm going to put it in full screen so you guys think this should be good. I don't know if you can't see that. I think I can do anything to make it better. I think that would be... All right, I think this will be the best setup. All right. I'm gonna lock in for you guys, and I'll see you on the back end of this. Honestly, it's about to just get started on its own. We got a minute left. Lock in, get your notes out, get focused. We're gonna have some homework assignments after this for people that are actually taking this course seriously. So just stay tuned for that. Anthony's gonna put the homework out. He's gonna give you the exact steps, the reflection material, and all that for this lesson. If you're not in our community, I'll just put the links in my bio. It's free to join, and then you get access to all of the other 4 lessons before this, and lesson 6 when it drops next week. But I'm gonna shut up once we hit like 20 seconds here, and then I'll let you guys watch the video. But I think well, yeah, we're getting some people in. Okay, I'll see you on the back end. If I turn my mic off, let me know if you can't hear it, and I'll fix it. Okay.
Do you think I have to start this lesson with the same thing? Either way, let's get into it. Before we start, you better have done all your homework leading up to this, or 2 things are gonna happen. First, I'm gonna be very disappointed in you, and nobody wants that. Second, none of this is really gonna mean anything because you haven't started to build the foundations. If your brain isn't being programmed and wired the right way, none of the new information is going to benefit from that. And so you are literally wasting time. You might as well play video games instead of watching this video. I'm gonna keep reminding you that I have every video, so keep up on the homework. If you didn't watch these in order, go back and figure out what you're supposed to do after each lesson. Again, they're the action steps, and I'm gonna give you some with this lesson as well. But today, we're gonna talk about the mind of the unbreakable. You can be the most disciplined, focused, and intelligent person in the world. But if you crumble under pressure and if you let failure break you, you're not gonna get anywhere. Because no matter how hard you work or how smart you are, you will get hit, you will fail, you will face rejection, you will experience setbacks. But the people who win, they don't just survive the setbacks. They use them to fuel the next move. How many times have you bounced out of a relationship and then grinded at the gym or accomplished something crazy in business or life because of the motivation you now have to prove them wrong or to better yourself the way you never were? The greatest curses can be our greatest gifts. As always, I'm going to tell you a story. There once was a fighter who never lost. Not because he was the strongest or biggest guy, but because he was the hardest to break mentally. Every time he got hit, he smiled like a maniac. He knew that every punch thrown at him was a little bit of energy his opponent lost, and he saw it as hurting them and not him. He trained his mind to see the pain as proof that he was still in the fight and still competing to win. While other fighters feared taking hits, he embraced them for that reason, and he was excited to be hit, knowing that his opponent was getting a little bit weaker every time. He flipped the pain on his heels and found a way to wire that as benefiting him. And guess how much more enjoyable in his mind the fight was? Exponentially. Here's why most people break under pressure. Most people think failure is a stop sign, when in reality it's just a test. The universe is always asking you questions. It's that little voice in your head. How bad do you actually want this? Are you really about this life? Are you gonna fold when it gets hard? And the only way to prove yourself is to keep moving when things go wrong. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they simply throw in the towel way earlier than they should. Let's get into the 3-step process to handle these, to bounce back from setbacks like the elite. And after, I'll give you the action steps. First, we need to reframe failure. Most people take failure as a personal attack. You know what? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm just not meant to win at this. But high-level executors know that you really can't fail at anything if you do it long enough. They see failure for what it really is. Data on their next step. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before the light bulb, and he used those as data points, and that was his primary objection when people called him crazy. A failed launch was just data on what didn't work. A rejected pitch was just data on how to improve the pitch and messaging for next time. A bad investment is just data on what to do and put your money in next time differently. The only real failure is not learning from your mistakes. I believe this is 100% true. If you look at your setback and ask, what is this trying to teach me? I don't think there's a reason you could ever fail. If you're actually doing it enough, nothing will really stop you. And I've seen people even get close to this standard, never really fail. It's so hard to do this in practice 100% of the time. So even if you're just moderately okay with it, you're gonna see a crazy level of improvement in every realm of your life. Tip 2, the 3-day rule. Process, adapt, move forward. When something goes wrong, people dwell on it for weeks, months, or sometimes even years. I mean, think about breakups and how long those people stay on our minds for years after. It's wasted energy, and I know you know it. Here's the 3-day rule. Sometimes this can obviously range longer, but with every setback, I would at least encourage you to do 3 days. Day 1 is feeling it. Like the movie, right? Cry it out, just be human. Feel the full range of emotions. Take 24 hours to process this setback. Be pissed off, be frustrated, but don't act emotionally. Don't take it out on someone. Don't eat yourself to sleep. Day 2, analyze. The next 24 hours, what actually went wrong? Where did you miscalculate? What was in your control? Day 3, adjust and execute. Take what you learned and find a way to apply it moving forward. No more overthinking, no more dwelling, just action-based steps. Again, at least 72 hours, but you can stretch it longer if needed. The bigger the emotional setback or event, the longer you can probably stretch it. The faster you process setbacks, the faster you are going to bounce back, and therefore the faster you'll achieve actual success learning from the feedback. Because the faster you can patch these bugs, the faster you can rerun your system, and when you encounter the problem again, you can actually succeed this time. But somebody else who's still dwelling on the problem and feeling emotional won't take action. Again, women tend to be more emotional than men, and that's just the fact of how it is. And for that reason, it's good and bad. Women might spend longer on the emotional stage of it, but men might not spend long enough. And so men might have to repeat the process when women might just spend longer, but still actually get to the finish line. Just know how you tend to react to these problems, because it'll depend on how you typically react, and adjust accordingly. Part 3, build mental calluses. Train your mind for pain. Every setback, every failure is a rep for your mind in the gym. Think about it. The more you experience pressure, objections, rejections, the more you're going to succeed more in the future, because you don't get fazed by it. Getting thrown off and feeling that emotional anxiety in our heads plays a huge part in whether or not we succeed or fail. You know, the stadium pulse in the football game, right? Where you can just feel the crowd just shouting at you and it gets in your head. That can actually throw people off significantly in a meeting or public presentation or out on a date. And this is a simple truth. You should know this. And I learned this in basic training very well. The more you put yourself in high stress situations, the more comfortable you get under pressure. I am putting you in the position where you don't have a choice but to do the homework and then move forward, because you need to feel the pressure of having to get this done if you actually want to push through. I'm trying to help get you accustomed to this. Again, if you're already going to the gym or already putting yourself under some sort of stress, then you are doing things right. And you already have an advantage going into this. The more you lean into discomfort, the more it affects you. If you accept discomfort as just a feeling like sadness or guilt or anxiety or joy, or any of the just normal feelings that we know cycle through and fade away, then it can actually really not matter to us. But a lot of other people will see discomfort and never even try to experience it, when it's just a fact of life. Most people run from pain. You need to run toward it, because the truth is, the game never gets easier. You never get less sales calls when the C-suite executives are calling you, when the clients back out, when the project is failing and you're on vacation in the Maldives. All of these people with all the money have the biggest problems. You just don't see them because they're strong enough to not show them. You're having a tiny problem like a bad brake on a car, and you're making it your entire life ordeal. No wonder you're never going to solve those higher level problems. You need to stop reacting at such a high level to small issues. Women might do this more because they tend to be more emotional, and so that can seep out a little bit more. But again, men might not be good at recognizing these in general a lot of times. So again, just understand how much you make a big deal out of this or not. Let's summarize. Pain is guaranteed. Stress is guaranteed. Failure is also guaranteed, and understand that one. But breaking is optional. If you can handle pressure, you're gonna dominate. If you can take failure and analyze it and turn it into a power next time, you will always win. And if you refuse to break in the boxing ring, right, of life, nothing will stop you next time. And nobody will want to challenge you. You'll have success to yourself. You don't get stronger by avoiding failure. You learn this at the gym from a young age. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. These are your action steps. First, think of your last major failure. Big financial problem, relationship, loss of a loved one, whatever it's gonna be. Instead of just the loss, what do you think was the lesson behind it, if you could analyze it? A lot of people do this spiritually, right? They'll link it to a higher power. What was God trying to tell me? If you're not as religious, just see it as, what is the universe trying to tell me about what's going on? What can be the message behind this? And I think a lot of times spirituality becomes our excuse to look for meaning in things. So what do you think was the lesson behind this event? And if it doesn't seem apparent, maybe just think a little bit longer and pull something out of it. Again, I'll give you one. And I did this over the 3-phase approach I talked about. Obviously, when I got out of a relationship, I was pretty emotional at first. But then thinking about it, I realized I made the situation a lot about me. I think I thought about this person so much because I wanted to make sure that the breakup didn't affect them. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't look bad to this other person when I know that we broke up, so I'm inherently going to. And so I wanted it to be about me and my status and how I looked, and I was feeling selfish. But I thought I cared so much about this other person because I wanted them back, when in reality, I was really just faced with my own selfishness and I had to get over that. Only then I could make peace with this breakup because now it wasn't about them, it was about the core issue, which was me. But I didn't figure that out until first I was emotional about it, and then I analyzed why I was emotional and what the actual emotion was, not the disguised one that most people will think it is. If you need to, talk with somebody trusted. This is why people pay for therapy. Write this stuff down. Figure out what the actual emotion is. So again, what was the lesson behind the setback that you identified? With this last major failure, move into step 2. Apply the 3-day rule. The next time a glimpse of this setback happens in the future, have a plan. First, allow yourself to be emotional. It doesn't exactly have to be 24 hours, but give yourself a window to feel emotional about it, even if you don't think you have to be that person. Emotional doesn't mean crying yourself to sleep. It can mean simply feeling frustrated and understanding that you are frustrated. You don't have to go punch a wall, but understand what emotion you're going to be feeling most likely. Next, analyze why you think that's the proper emotion and why your body's feeding you that emotion in that particular situation. Why is anger the best programmed emotion for your body to give you in this situation? And what do you think is it really telling you about this situation and how you're processing it? Finally, I want you to expose yourself to a similar sort of discomfort on purpose. If it's talking to people or connecting in relationships, maybe try talking to some strangers. Go out to a bar and try sparking a conversation with somebody interesting. Seeing if you can actually invest in listening. Whatever the skill is, understand that you're giving yourself a trial period to be better. I want you to focus primarily on the discomfort. Why do you feel uncomfortable in this situation? A lot of times the answer is going to be because you know that there's a high likelihood of it going wrong. And the question you need to ask is, if this goes equally as wrong as it has in the past, are you going to be equally as discomforted? Or now that you know how to handle it, can you handle it better? Do you know all the possible responses you could exhibit in this case? Pick the best one and understand that this is now going to be your plan of attack to change the situation and potentially change the outcome. And that is how the successful rewire their subconscious to continue to be successful. This is going to take a lot of work. It's going to be deep level mindset training. But if you do this enough with the most impactful stressors in your life, you're going to see change and you're going to excel at a much rapid pace than you ever thought was possible. There's a good chance you're going to need help with this too. So if you're in the community, be responsive in the chats and ask people for advice and let them know how you're dealing with certain emotions and what you might want to say about them, because people will want to hear your example as well. Now that you know how to handle setbacks, there's really only one thing left: taking action. Being the smiling boxer we are in the ring, as hard as that might be, taking more action leads to more setbacks, which leads to more emotions, more lessons learned, and more corrections to possibly route us towards success. Every failure is feedback, remember? So action is how we get more feedback. You just have to be ready to not see failure as the output. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do, but because they don't do it fast enough and with enough purpose. In the next lesson, we're gonna start wrapping this up. I'm gonna show you how to make some of the most important things happen, making decisions like the high-level executive that you are soon to become, how to execute at an insane speed, and how to stop overthinking, because in this game, speed is everything. And once we conquer that, there's nothing stopping you from continuing and getting started on your financial success journey. It's time to move fast and dominate. I'll see you in the next lesson.
So what are we thinking? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully that was an entertaining video to watch, but also like impactful. I don't want you guys to just have mind dumped that essentially and zoned out for that last few minutes. I want you to have reflected in a way that you can walk away or go to bed tonight and think about what are the biggest things that I kind of got out of this, that I kind of processed today, because you can only really take action if you are competently thinking about where you are short falling in your life. Okay. And I don't want to give this whole inspirational speech here. I know you guys got things to do. Obviously, I'm president of my community. Tomorrow we have this massive coffee hour where we're going to sit down, Anthony and I. We're going to answer everybody's question. It doesn't even have to relate to the course content we primarily have where we teach you how to build a coaching business. We answer those questions all the time. But also, if you have questions about this mindset thing, this is your opportunity to meet with us for free while we're still doing it for free and really get the data and information you need. If you guys did watch that video, again, the link's going to be in I think on Instagram. You got to look me up on YouTube. It's just my same username, Caleb Schulke on YouTube. But if you guys watch this whole video through start to finish for the last 15 minutes here, then I want you to just comment something you got out of it. Or DM me too. I will respond to almost any DM, and I'd love to hear what your feedback is because we want to get better at making these videos for you. I have a lot to do. I'm not sweaty, by the way, Wyatt. I know you're listening. I just got done with a big HIIT workout, and so I took a shower. So hopefully I look glistening and not sweaty. But if that lesson, right, the limitation side of it was a big thing to you, I know for me personally, I think that was the biggest hump I had to get over, but I couldn't have started this course with just speaking about your limitations because then it sounded like I was attacking you, right? Like I had to admit my own flaws. And if you guys have a business or you're trying to influence others online, share your weaknesses. I talked about getting out of a relationship, right? And how that impacted my personal mindset and my motivation to be successful and what limitations I realized I had because of that. You have to do some deep introspection after events like that, or maybe the loss of a loved one, or maybe a business idea fails. You have to learn from every single setback by going through that homework step that I gave you about reflecting, but also taking time to feel the emotion. You can't reflect on what you were feeling if you never felt anything in the first place. So going through the entire range of emotions, A, gives life meaning, and second, allows you to understand what you were feeling in the first place, because that emotion is telling you something about yourself. Anger is going to tell you a different story than frustration, even though they seem similar, and maybe guilt, right? Or I don't know, we could just call it like grief, right? Those are all different emotions, but they're telling you that you're doing something differently. And it could, if you apply it to the same situation, maybe it's a breakup, or maybe let's just say a breakup, right? Like if you feel angry versus grief, that's going to be two different ways of looking at the same situation, which tells you likely two different things you need to work on. But you can't identify those unless you follow this homework, even if this event is a long time ago, and seriously reflect on these things. That's how we get better as people. That's how we learn from our mistakes and how you become a higher performing individual. Think about it, guys. We're all playing the same game. We're all competing with one another. As much as you don't want to think about it, somebody else is trying to take what you're going after, right? Your partner, your money, right? Your influence, your impact. Your spot at work someday, right? So you are fighting to keep everything you have. You might as well be optimizing yourself too to guarantee that you have a better outcome in life. So all it takes is just a little bit of downtime instead of scrolling on your phone and sitting on Instagram and watching stupid live streams like this. Maybe you just reflect on the few moments of your life that you think you learned the most about. And I'm not calling you stupid for doing that. I'm just saying that there's a way better choice available when that time comes. Hopefully you guys got, again, something out of it. I'm not going to keep yapping here. I'm a yapper, but join my community. The link's in my bio. I'll see you guys tomorrow for coffee hour. Bring your actual coffee. I don't have a coffee right now, but I will definitely be there because it's early in the morning, 10 a.m. Central Time. and we'll get to it. Appreciate all of you. And somebody said, do you use Hegelian dialects? To be honest, I don't even know what that term means. I probably know what you're talking about, but just in a different opposing idea. So like a thesis and antithesis clash are reconciled through a new higher level concept. I'm trying to think of like an example. So like it says for there to be an individuality or identity, these terms must be defined in terms of difference. For an us, there is a them. That is actually a great reference model to think about this on. But if you watch the video fully, I think, we have this like quantum state, right? And I know we're getting into Q&A at this point. I don't want to take too long to do Q&A, but you can't really understand like the yin yang effect, right? You can't truly understand that frustration happened in your life unless you also know what the complete opposite of that is, which is maybe like this extreme state of calm. So you also need to know what both sides are, and that comes from experiencing as much as possible. That was kind of my message in this lesson, but I think more of you have experienced a wider range of emotions than you think, but also there's so much more that you can experience. For instance, most of you block out, I'll say after like, I like to use the relationship example because I think it applies to almost everyone here. Let's say you get out of a relationship and you absolutely hate the other person. And so even though you had all these great memories together, the one thing you think about is, oh, I hate my ex. They're crazy. They're like this stupid person online. But you wouldn't know that she you hated them unless you also knew how much you loved them, right? Because that moment made you like feel the complete opposite toward them. So that's just an example. But I think Hegelian dialects, I'll have to do more research on the term, but basically kind of that opposing state of affairs that give kind of meaning in things. And I really love that. So I appreciate you, man. What's your name? I don't know if I can. I'm just going to pin your comment here, but essentially, yeah, that's what I was talking about. But if you guys have any other questions, drop them in here. I'm otherwise going to probably end it, but you can ask whatever else you want in our coffee hour, which is going to be free tomorrow. But yeah, awesome question. That's a very deep level philosophical term. But if anybody else has a question especially on Instagram or YouTube, drop it now, because otherwise I think we'll wrap this up. But again, for just to cover our bounds, let me share the Q&A thing so you guys know what to do. But tomorrow, that's so right. Yeah, look into it. Okay, glad I at least got something on the dot there with my message, and I kind of applied it. I think actually, let me share this real quick because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this image, right? And it gets so deep for what you're talking about here. The dial, man, I'm just gonna give you. I'm gonna share this image that's on my screen right now because I really love this. I'm really glad you like philosophy in that way because I'm gonna share the image I looked up. Let me go back to my screen here. I don't want to take too long again, but this is fun. So I was looking at this image. Can I make this like full screen? Maybe. I don't know if it'll let me do that high key, but all right, there you go. Share, replace, boom. Window. There we go. So can you guys see that? That's basically what I was looking at. You have this state of like you're either something or you're nothing. And there's a transition, which is becoming, which is also realizing the difference between the two. This is so meta of a conversation to have like right after a video like this, but I think it's a great kind of thing. And I'm just kind of guessing right at what the meaning is, but you brought up this great point. I kind of want to play with that a little bit more, but most of the time I'm bringing up philosophical concepts like that, but it's not in the way that you just did. So I'd love for you to follow me, dude, or send me a DM, and I'd love to chat more on that. I'm going to just say explain simply to you guys because I put it in GPT real quick. But essentially, to make sure I did hit it right, it refers to a method to explain how ideas evolve over time. First, you have a thesis, which is so it's kind of like a scientific study. You have this initial idea or concept. Then you have an antithesis, which is a conflicting or opposite idea that challenges the concept, right? So you have this like null state, null hypothesis. Then you have the experimental like hypothesis. And then you test it versus the null. Does it have enough evidence to refute what you used to believe? And then synthesis is the new idea formed by resolving the tension between the thesis and the antithesis, combining elements from both. This isn't necessarily, let's just say this is your old state, this is your new state, and you have to test it through this process of becoming. Essentially, it's the idea that growth and progress happen through conflict and resolution. Two opposing ideas clash, and a new, more advanced idea emerges from their interaction. Did I hit that right? Because that was also ChatGPT part of it talking, but it's some of my ideas too. But in terms of this video, right, because I'll relate it back, I think what I was explaining here is unless you look at the deeper level lessons behind it, there's no way to go through that becoming phase, right? You know, like coming out of a breakup, you need to be a better person. But what does better mean and how do you do it? Well, you don't know what better even means until you realize what you didn't do right. So you have to say, well, I fucked up this, I fucked up that, I didn't do this right. I shouldn't be swearing as much on live streams, things like that, right? And then you realize this state of like, okay, well, because of that, these are the things I have to improve on. So I know exactly what to transition to get from point A to point B, right? I'd say it's actually pretty common to like what we do in like scientific studies, but damn, I'm really small on this screen here. Hopefully you guys can see me all right. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for everyone that tuned in on the live stream on YouTube, on Instagram. I think that's all, TikTok too. But I'll see you tomorrow at like 10 a.m. Central. Go ahead and follow me. If you guys F with my content, then I will F with you back in a respectful and bro to bro or bro to broette way. So, and obviously check out what I do too. I'd love to help you guys, just give you free advice. I'm all about you guys. I'm not trying to like cash in here. I don't need the money. But I just care about making a good impact on you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the WOB stream here. And I'll end the Instagram here too. But appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.